Hey, saltwater anglers, and welcome to the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report, your local report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This podcast is part of the Great Days Outdoors Network, and each week we'll be talking to local experts to learn ways we can become better anglers in our pursuits offshore, nearshore, and inshore. To keep this amazing fishery healthy and thriving for generations to come, remember to protect what you pursue. Summer fishing is fired up with warm water and hungry fish moving into the bay. So let's hear who's making the show possible, and then we'll jump into the reports. Check it out. AFTCO has a gift for our listeners. They're now offering a camo sunglasses cleaner cloth with any purchase of AFTCO products. Whether I'm walking the dock or the deck, I love my AFTCO fishing boots. You cannot beat the comfort. And as temps warm up, the Samurai Sun Shirt will keep you cool and protected. To get your coupon code, just text LCBFR to 779-345-2918. You'll get subscribed to our email list, and we'll send you the promo code via email. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to this week's episode. I'm going to do something a little unorthodox to kick things off. I'm trying to talk better, but you know what? Whatever. Sometimes I sound like Mike Tyson. Like Mike Tyson. Words are hard. You're hearing the voice of the one and only Butch Theory with Great Days Outdoors. One of my very closest friends. I've got a lot of adventures with him. And this past week, he and I were talking, and I was like, man, we're 100 episodes in. Time has flown. And some of you that are listening now weren't there in the beginning, and even before the beginning don't know how we got here. So I thought it would be really cool to have Butch on and just talk about, where did this all begin? Where did the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report even get its birth? So welcome to the show, Captain Butch. How we doing?
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me. I don't get interviewed very often on other podcasts. It does fly by, man. I'm thankful to be here today. I appreciate you having me on, and it's been a cool adventure, man. I'm glad we started it. You've been a perfect host. A lot of good feedback. It's going really well. I'm on episode 435 of the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report, so I understand what you mean by flying by. I can't believe it. It's been that long.
That's
It's cool.
insane.
It's a cool adventure, man. It's been fun.
It is. And I want to go back to the very beginning, like
Man, do we have that
where you,
long? How long do you
yeah.
want to do this today?
Well, we got a little bit of time.
Well, when I
Where did
was
you and I meet?
5,
Yeah, where did you and I meet? Where did our journey start? And I think it's important to talk about this because it feeds into where the podcast even came from. So tell us
it
about
does,
your
yeah.
adventure to Virginia and how we first met.
Yeah, man. So I grew up on Dauphin Island, Alabama. It's a little island. It's as far south as you can get in Alabama. It's in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, Gulf of America now, whichever you
Hmm.
prefer. And I got a job right, I guess I say right out of college. It was right whenever I got married, and my wife and I moved to Virginia Beach for my longshore adjusting job. And so I was working in shipyards, handling workers' compensation injuries and things like that. And it wasn't too long after we moved, we met you guys. Our wives met through work, and I think the first time we ever hung out was on your boat. And I was like, man, I've always wanted a boat like this. Like this is my uncle had a classic Mako growing up,
Yeah.
and it's an awesome solid hull, and I've always wanted one, and ended up buying yours, so it worked out.
Yep. And it was right about the time that I had just gotten introduced to cobia fishing from Captain Austin Hain. We'd gone on a charter together, you and
That's
I
right.
and two other guys, and had the most incredible time. And you're like, wait a second, this is a really cool fishery here. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to have a boat with a tower one day. And so I had kind of just started looking at boats. And then you just like out of the blue were like, hey, man, it was nice to meet you last week. If you ever sell your boat, let me
Right.
know. And I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a second. Are you reading my mail here? Because I literally just thought about selling my boat. And fast forward, we got that boat, and right about the time I get the tower on it, you move back home to South Alabama. But
Well,
but tell
it's
me,
not to
well,
interrupt you. It starts a
yeah,
little bit. It started a little bit before that because I literally grew up on the back deck of a charter boat.
right,
That's why I said when I was 5, that's actually when it began.
right.
I grew up on the back deck of a charter boat. Fishing's in my bones. Literally have, I don't even know, thousands and thousands of days on the water. And so I figured up there I'd buy a boat and go catch fish, right?
Easy.
Be probably pretty similar to here, same
Hmm.
spots, find a wrecks for wreck fish, whatever you're catching. That was not the case. I think I caught a stingray after about 5 trips, and that's was the idea.
So
Was
you're
was
so you're
me.
you're basically saying you were unsuccessful and you were extra frustrated because you're like, wait a second, if anybody should be able to just go
I'm a
fishing and
fisherman.
catch
Right.
fish is a fisherman. So you're like, all of a
That's
sudden
right.
I'm in new territory and it's like, I just can't figure it out.
Where do I even start?
Right.
And so, and then fast forward a little bit, I did move back here, and my best friend growing up, Joe Baya, had purchased Great Days Outdoors, which was just a magazine whenever he bought the company, heck, I guess 9 or 10 years ago now.
Hmm.
And whenever I moved back, he and I were kind of talking about this situation, and we were like, man, what if you had local captains, and this goes back to the beginning of time, right? Like people used to write the fishing report on the chalkboard on the bait shop, king
Right.
mackerel or hidden spoons this week. I mean, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody wants to know what's happening locally.
Yeah.
So Joe and I was just telling, Joe about how it just was not the same. It was not intuitive. It did not transfer as far as fishing mindset goes. We were like,
Hmm.
what if you could hear from local captains or local respected anglers about what's going on that week? Because fishing changes day to day. I
Oh
mean, we
yeah.
could do a daily fishing report.
Right.
I'm not sure if I'm willing to talk that much these days, but weekly is, easy because it changes every single day.
Absolutely.
Um, and so the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report was born. And then, you and I stayed really good friends and did some other business together. Well, we had a lot of clients in
Yeah, yeah.
common
When I
whenever I
was in
was,
IT, you were
that's
doing
right.
the claims adjusting for the same clients, which we didn't even know before we met, which was
Correct.
kind of a
Correct.
cool thing. And I just got to go back for a split second because you're talking about how, hey, I went out there like 5 trips and caught a stingray. And I just started laughing because I got this flashback to my first trip on that same 20-foot Mako. I took three buddies, an entire flat of bunker, like 7,200 rods,
Oh,
and
yeah.
thought I was making this big trek going to the first island. And all we caught that trip was stingrays because our terminal tackle was wrong. I mean, we just had no idea where
No
to
clue.
even start. And
Yeah.
there's you forget that when you're brand new to fishing, there's such a huge gap between what the average weekend warrior and the charter guide knows. It's huge, and it's a difference of profession. These
It's
guys are out
all
there
about
every single
time.
day. Absolutely. Time on the
Time
water.
on the water, man.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so back to you.
Yeah, no, that's about it. Started the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report, and I caught on really well. And people don't really care. I mean, even like here, I try and get an Orange Beach, Alabama report, which is about 25 miles from me as the
Hmm.
crow flies, but it's totally different fishing.
Right.
Much less, you go a little bit to the west and a little bit to the east of that. It's just totally different. The water's more clear. There's different species of fish.
Hmm.
As your listeners know, we try and get offshore, near shore, try and
Hmm.
mix it up a little bit, get a little bit for everybody. So, anyways, we figured out that as much hyper local as you can get is that's what people want because people fish where they fish.
Right.
Whether they own a condo in Richmond and come down to Virginia Beach to fish, or we have a lot of listeners to my show from Atlanta, Dallas, and things
Hmm.
like that, but they want that local knowledge.
Right.
And so then we started the Northwest Florida Fishing Report that Joe hosts now, and it did really well too because he focused on Pensacola, Panama City, which is still a big stretch, but
Right.
as local as we could be at that time. And yeah, it worked well. And obviously, you come down here and hunt all the time, and we stayed really good friends. I was like, man, this is really working. And you got your new tower all rigged out, and you got it dialed in, and I feel like you have proven yourself as a respected angler in the area. Not that that was a prerequisite necessarily,
Well,
but
you got to at least know a little bit about the
got to be able
subject
to
matter,
got to
right?
ask
And
the
I
right
don't I
questions,
don't
right?
have nearly as much experience on the back of a charter boat as you do growing up, but I had cut my teeth for a few years, chasing cobia. And in fact, we both we're on Zoom right now. We can see each other's, backgrounds, and both of us have the same trophy from winning a cobia tournament, which was
Yeah,
actually in 2019,
yeah,
2 or 3 years after I had kind of started to get to figure it out. And I got a lot to got to thank Austin Hain and Alex Field because they really helped to mentor me in those gaps, like I was talking about earlier. The stuff like, oh, wait, you can pull the boat into neutral when you see the fish. I didn't know that.
yeah.
And you flew up. hopped on the boat. We went out and
Yeah.
won a tournament with Alex, and I mean, boom. And then you flew back home, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I do every other day of
Yeah.
the week, just
Yeah.
fly in.
TSA looked at me really weird. I had a cooler bag full of cash and fillets. And they were like, what? And a trophy. My trophy
Yeah,
was in there too. And they were
what's
like,
this?
I just put my hands up. I was like, it's not illegal, right?
Yep. And and you kind of just like threw the idea out there to me, and I was like, yeah, I don't know where I would begin because like I know a few captains, but man, I gotta say, I really value the opportunity that you extended to me, and I hope our listeners have enjoyed it too because we have gotten to capture so many cool stories, gotten to know so many great captains. It's really helped to build our community here we have guys that are involved with, giving back through different charity arms. We've got, Jenny who does all the local photography that's really
Yeah,
built. Is
man. She
super
shoots some
cool.
cool
Oh,
stuff.
dude. I mean, what a
Yep.
treasure. Like to have
Yep.
someone that's just so passionate about fishing that's out there for the love of it, joining all these different guides on their trips. I mean, so much cool stuff has happened. And I
It
just I
is.
just sit back and I'm like, man, what an honor to be in a spot to be like sort of a gathering place, for
That's right.
everybody.
It's a community,
Um,
man.
yeah, absolutely. And
And
and to
not to mention, I mean, the goal is fishing, right?
Mhm.
Education, fishing, enjoying yourself, making memories on the water, catching more fish is one reason why I love it. I love, hearing success stories. Oh man, I listened last week and we did exactly what you said, smoked them.
Yeah.
But to be able to promote conservation and stewardship of the resources that we treasure so much and to be able to use our platform to do that and
Hmm.
educate people, it's just awesome, man.
It
It's
is.
it's
It
really been
is.
cool. It's
That's that's probably my favorite part, coming from a family that does, wholesale seafood, who's been
That's
doing it
right.
for like 80
Yeah.
years, and
Same
they
here.
have
My
to,
charter
yeah,
background. I mean,
yep. It's
gotta have fish to catch, take people fishing.
yeah,
Big
sustainability
facts.
is, yeah, it's not just a buzzword. Like sustainability is a set of like decisions and actions that you do in your day to day where you're like, okay, I figured out how to catch sheep's head, or I figured out how to catch cobia, and I have the time to go often. Do I kill and harvest every single time? No, because
Amen.
I know what I do or don't need. Or in the case of like Sam Rust, they're like, hey, we have to make sure that we are, fact checking our supply chain to ensure things are coming from sustainable sources. And back to, like the mission of our show, protect what you pursue. It's like place yourself and your mindset into a position of, you're a shepherd, you're a steward of these fisheries and these things, these resources. And if you care about your children and your children's children having a place to enjoy, doing this, like you make certain decisions, to maybe
Yep.
not kill
It's
everything
part
that
of it.
swims.
Yep.
And it's
And
neat.
I'll never chastise somebody or look down upon them for, harvesting a fish for dinner because I love fish.
Yeah,
But we got, and I'm not obviously taking credit for, I mean, I'm not, I don't know anything. The guys that contribute to our show,
right.
Richard and Patrick and all of them, and they tell people why you need to release those, just for instance, speckled trout over 20 inches, because there's the
Hmm.
ones that are making exponential amount of eggs and it's good for the population. And in the last 5 to 8 years, it is unbelievable what our fishery has become here
Wow.
inshore. And I think it's catching on. It's generational. You
Oh
don't know
yeah.
what you don't know.
Yeah. It's like we used to smoke on planes and smoke all the times, and now we're not like, oh, it causes lung cancer, and
Right.
oh, okay, maybe we should stop doing that. So information, we're in the information age now where we are getting information more out to people more consistently, and people are learning things, and it's becoming more popularized, and people are looking at it as an opportunity where it's like, hey, it's actually cooler to have, a picture of a fish that you then let go than maybe the big heavy dock shot every single time or
Yep.
whatever the case. And I
Yep.
think something Captain Jack Limroth with King Tide Charter said to me one time when we were talking about sustainability and cobia in particular was, you talk about like the speckled trout over 20. He was like, think about every large fish that you kill. Every cobia doesn't grow to be 55 inches, 57 inches. So those 55, 57 inches, maybe they have like a specific
Yeah.
DNA that's
That's
going
your
to help.
LeBron James.
Exactly. That was exactly what he said. He's like,
Yeah.
that's your shack, and
Yeah.
and
That's your
you're
Michael
not going to
Jordan.
have any more people over 6'10" in the NBA if you kill everybody
That's
over
right.
6'10". And
That's
I was
right.
always like, man, that makes so like that's to me like the one of the best arguments for sustainability that I had ever heard.
Yeah.
But I'm curious for you, like growing up on the back of a charter boat, transitioning into, I'll call it, the sort of white collar world of, claims adjusting, and then transitioning back into the world of hunt and fishing and lifestyle. How has your sustainability journey sort of changed over the years to where it is now. Like, well, how would you describe your picture of sustainability, 15 years ago versus your picture of sustainability now?
Yeah, man, I think I pretty much just summed it up. You know, it makes me cringe literally to look back at, charter dock shots like you were saying. And I mean, that's what we did for a living. And that's why we were booked 7 days a week, 8 months out of the year, is because my dad and my brother were fish killers. I mean,
Hmm.
they're just awesome. They put the work in, they put the spots. Here in Alabama, we have one of the most vast artificial reef population, or I guess per capita in
Hmm.
the reef zones in the nation for sure. We have a ton of artificial reefs, but they invested a lot of money into those for years and years and years to be able to have fish on them,
Yep.
which is also good for the population. But we killed a lot of fish. And like I said, I'll never chastise anybody for it, but it's just that's not necessary anymore,
Yeah.
especially with the fast boats that we have and the technology that we have. I mean, the fish don't have a chance.
No, especially
They don't
enter
have
live
a
scope,
chance.
it's like,
I can see you down there.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, stop looking at me. I'm going to put a jig
Right.
in front of your face. And
Yeah.
I think that does introduce, I mean, as that technology becomes more affordable, becomes more commonplace in stock
This is going to
boats.
become way more important.
Exactly. We are on the verge of, like, these conversations I think are happening at the right time because we have technology and the stock resource really hitting a sort of pivotal point of no return where you could go out there and pretty much kill a limit every time you go, no matter who you are in
Right.
terms of skill level, if you're able to see them. So I do think it's probably the most important conversation we can be having as recreational anglers amongst ourselves, hanging out around the tackle shop, is like, look for opportunities to be a good steward of the
Yeah.
resource, and it will only make it that much more fun. Because to me, the fun is in the, like, figuring it out, connecting the dots, and then getting to actually like see and hold that beautiful fish, whatever it
When a
is.
plan comes together.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely, man. And
And
that even
so,
makes me think about like some of our trips offshore together. That big mahi that we have, pictured behind both of us, so many cool memories. I do want to
yeah.
share one funny story. I want to do a funny story break. So Butch has the reflexes of a cat. Um, and one time we were on the Mako, my
Oh, you're a
Mako.
big Mako. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were.
I had just had ankle surgery. I
That's
was still
right.
in a boot.
That's right. And we're trolling along, and I hear a noise, and I turn around, and Butch is laid across the transom of my boat, half of his body out over the water. Keep in mind, it's December, cold, and he is holding my beautiful Pin 1500 reel that had somehow a big fish had hit it. It had jumped out of the rod holder, and you landed on your chest on the back of my boat, and in your left hand was the rod. You saved the rod. I mean, how did you do that?
I have no clue. I blacked out. I don't know. I woke up and I had the rod in my hand. I don't know.
Unbelievable. It's
It's them
it's like,
deckhand reflexes, bro.
I was gonna say that's got to be what it is.
Seeing around corners. I mean,
Yeah, that's one of my favorite, stories and memories of you. We got a ton of really fun hunting stories, which I think is
oh
for
yeah.
another podcast, another day.
Yeah.
Lots of funny, haha, oops, I can't believe we just did that. But growing up on the back of a charter boat as a deckhand, what was one of your favorite, core memories that you got of either fishing with your dad or fishing with your brother Skipper?
Oh man, we've done a lot. I would say billfish is probably one of my favorite things to target offshore. I grew up fishing a lot of tournaments here in South Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Panhandle, and things like that. And I would say one of my coolest memories on the Escape, which is my brother's boat, it's a 65 by 20. We fought a swordfish for about 4.5 hours at night, and we burn up a 30 wide totally to the point where I was having to hold the spool whenever the fish was trying to run. And the drag, it was a lever drag, and we
Okay.
had to put it in full for the guy to be able to reel.
Uh-huh.
And then we had to put it in free spool for me to be able to hold the reel because there was zero drag system left in it. And we did that for about an hour. I would hold the thing and be like, all right, pump, 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 pump. And then I'd slam it in and he would get like one or two cranks, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, all right, this is not working anymore. We backed down on that fish for so long. That was before he got new engines. So he had some big old Detroit diesels in there. If you know anything about Detroit diesels, they smoke like a, you know
Oh
what.
yeah.
I was puking off the back of the boat from all the diesel fumes because I had the harpoon ready the whole time. That fish came up jumping a couple times. Long story short, we ended up finding a 50 wide on the boat that we used for trolling.
Yeah.
And so I told my brother to pull the boat ahead. So I hand lined the swordfish and we pulled out a bunch of line off of that 50 wide and I cut it, the line that the
You
swordfish
cut
was
the
on.
30 wide line,
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
line.
I
So
had
now
to.
you've just got the fish by the hands.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
So I cut the main line to the sword. I'm like, back down hard. I can't,
Right.
yeah. And so I tie the splice on after I took a bunch of line off the 50 wide, tied the splice on. I was like, all right, this should be good. Pop, it broke.
Oh no.
So I'm sweating now, right? I've done this a million times, so I do it again and it holds. And I mean, I took off a bunch of lines. So
Right, right.
I was like, okay, good. Thank God we're never going to see that splice again. Hooked the dude back up to the harness. Literally 30 seconds later, that fish takes off and that splice goes right out the line. I'm
Oh
like,
no.
it's over with. And we ended up harpooning that fish. Ended up being like 225 with the bill cut off and gutted. It was a big one.
Dude, that's a big swordfish. And that's an insane pressure moment. Like talk about trusting your knots
Oh
and
man,
on this segment of these knots.
that's right.
That's the ultimate pressure test. We've talked about it so many times with like bluefin
Pun
tuna and
intended.
these other big pelagics. Like those fish will test your terminal tackle. And if there is any inconsistency, they will unveil it. But now you got me thinking about my first yellowfin tuna. I've actually got two very uncomfortable experiences in my life with fish and deer blood, and both of them, you're right in the middle of it.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
yeah, thank you. So my first yellowfin tuna, it was 2015, 11 years ago. We head
Wow.
off for our 3-day offshore trip. It's like 3:45 in the morning. We get to the fishing grounds. We're like 115 miles off the coast of Dolphin Island, and I hear your brother Skipper come over the radio. All right, y'all, we're marking them about 130, 150 feet. Let's get some jigs in the water. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay, what do I do? And I'm still like kind of new to fishing, and so I'm dropping a jig in the
Well,
water.
especially that
Bang,
kind of fishing. I mean,
brand
you're in
new.
you're in 10,000 foot of water, and you're like, jig,
Yeah.
what? What are you talking
What,
about?
what what's a
Yeah,
jig? And I've been puking the whole way out. I got Joe
it was
sitting there like
rough.
Joe's holding me like, it's gonna be okay, buddy, and like telling me these silly stories to try to keep me distracted. I'm like, God,
That's
what have I
sweet of
done?
Joe. Yeah, it was rough, but nah,
Yeah,
man, that was a cool trip. You ended up catching
yeah.
a big fish on that trip.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is like I hooked something and it just pulled straight down and then bink comes off and I reel in and the hook is wide open from the diamond jig. And I'll forget your buddy Chad Wold who was there, who was helping
The
as a mate.
Walder Beast.
The water beast. He goes, here, just tie on a new jig. I go, okay, and I tie the jig on, and he goes, nah, man, you tied that wrong. And of course, young and arrogant. I'm like, no, man, I know how to tie a fishing knot. He goes, okay, have at it. So I drop it back down, and sure enough, I get hit again just as hard. And of course, everyone around me thinks that I've been sharked. So I'm like yelling and hooting and hollering, I got a big fish, I got a big fish. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever, it's a shark.
Right.
I'll never
Yeah,
forget
it's
it.
3 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like I think 4:15, 4:20. We had been fighting it for close to an hour, and all of a sudden it pops up in the underwater lights, and you yelled, "Big tuna, get the harpoon!" And next thing I know, you're right next to me for the next 30 minutes as we fight this. I think it ended up being about 100-pound yellowfin tuna.
It was on very small tackle. I mean, if we're jigging, I mean, I don't remember what it
I
was, a
think it was a
TLD
TLD
20 maybe.
25.
Yeah,
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 20 or 25. So the
yeah.
wrong tackle for a 100
Right.
pound yellowfin tuna.
100%.
And I just
It'll
remember
obviously get the job done, but that's not what you want to get it in quick and do the work quick.
for sure. And I'm gonna wrap this up in 30 seconds, but I'll just never forget being so physically exhausted. At one point, I was sitting on the reel, sitting on the butt of the rod on the edge of the escape and begging you to take it from me. And
Yep.
you just looked at me and you're like, nah, dog, you got to finish this. And I was like, all right. And sure enough, we fought through it and finally got it. You hit it with the harpoon perfectly the very first shot. And then next thing I know, Joe has the knife out and you're handing me a still beating tuna heart and you're like, eat it. And I'm like, huh? And you're like, it's your first tuna, eat it. So I
But
did.
I was just puking and this thing just beat me up. I don't want to do that.
I didn't know that that was coming. Same
Yep.
same thing that happened when I killed my first deer with you. You just like looked up at me and you're like, sit still. And I'm like, what? And next thing I know, you're just reaching into the open
Oh
wound
yeah. I have
of
video of that. That's hilarious.
and you're like, trust me, my brothers and dad would tell you the same thing. And then you just wipe the blood all over my face. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So suffice to say, as we wrap up, you've introduced me to so many incredible, hunting and fishing moments. And I feel like together we've learned so much along the journey about ways that we can be better anglers, ways that we can be better, caretakers and stewards of the fishery. And I know, I'm sure like you, I have learned so much from these guides
Oh my
about
gosh, man.
so much. I mean,
I was never into, because I'm offshore, obviously. I was
right,
never into speckled trout, redfish, flounder fishing,
right.
and getting to go with these guys some and learning a lot from the podcast. And
Yep.
I've gotten to where of course, I have kids, small kids, and all that, so
Yeah,
offshore is a lot harder. But I've gotten to where I really, really enjoy inshore fishing now, just because I know halfway what I'm doing.
absolutely. Having that
Learned a lot.
having that knowledge and I just love the way these guys will sometimes paint a picture and it gets you so much closer to the target and then you've got all the pieces of the puzzle, all the ingredients. Like they won't tell you exactly how to bake the chocolate cake,
That's
but
right.
they'll
Give
give
you
you
the
the
recipe.
ingredients, and
Yeah.
you're so much closer. And then that satisfaction of when you put two and two together, I would say of all the different stuff that's been put out there, you know, the thing that has hit me the most about these charter guides is the way that they position their minds to be like true students of whatever it is they're doing and be willing to think outside of the box and consider the data points that might actually mean something and
Yeah.
put it together. Their ability to think in an abstract way and figure out the way that fish think, like you used
Yeah,
to
you can't
jokingly
get stuck
say.
in a rut and use the same
Yeah,
bait every day and all that.
absolutely.
What I
Well,
used to
man,
jokingly say.
oh, that fish don't have calendars.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
They don't have pockets to
they
put their
don't have
calendars in either.
pockets.
I want to bring you back a little bit to one thing. I didn't really answer it fully, I don't think, whenever you were asking me kind of how I saw the progression or how I've progressed
Yeah.
as a steward,
Hmm.
conservationist. Just wanted to touch on that a little bit because
Please.
it is very important to me. Overall, this whole thing. I can't tell you how many, year after year after year clients. I have friends that I still, talk to that I've deckhanded for, captain for 10, 15, 20 years ago. But every year coming back, oh man, what are we going to do with all these fish? I still got fish in the bottom of my freezer from last year.
Hmm.
And it's just not cool, man. I mean, that's terrible. And I really took that to heart and learned from that and really learned how to start taking care of fish,
Hmm.
bleeding them, ikejime, shikejime. And now you don't
Hold on,
need to
hold on.
fill
What did
your,
you just call me?
konnichiwa. Uh, yeah, well, look it up.
Okay.
Ikejime, shikejime. It's a Japanese technique to preserve fish and
Okay.
kills them properly
Got it.
and takes their sensory or their nervous system out so the fish isn't flopping or anything. It literally kills them instantly, preserves the meat perfectly when you shikejime it and whenever you bleed it and all that. I mean, it lasts so much longer. It tastes
Hmm.
so much better. And if you vacuum seal it, you can use it the next week.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just eating what you catch. I'm not against freezing fish, obviously, but I run out of fish every month. Uh,
Yeah.
so I just heard that way too much and realized that it was a big issue. I mean, it's just a
Hmm.
waste. It's wasteful. That's
I,
pretty much sums it up.
I want to dig like a little bit deeper, and this is going into sort of like the more psychological side of things, more the
Sure.
human factors, but like what is it? Why is it that we as men, because you don't see lady captains doing this, but why is it that we as men tend to be the ones that do kill too much? Like, what is it in our nature that causes us to do this if we aren't keeping top of mind the things that we just talked about?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We're cavemen at heart, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah. For me, and I'm just going to be vulnerable, I think early on is like once I figured something out and
Right.
was getting like validation and affirmation of like, man, here's my four cobias dead on the
That's right.
dock, like it
Yeah.
felt so
Social media is
good.
the devil too.
Yeah,
You want to, and
absolutely.
I'm not saying you in particular, but
No,
yeah,
call me out,
I figured
please.
it, I figured it out. Here's my limit, and
Yeah.
like, it's just, yeah, it's the mindset, man. It's a generational thing. And I just feel like we need to get on the other side of that.
Yeah, readjust our focus and our mindset, which I love. So many of my captains, they talk about this, like, man, it's about getting out there. I think of my buddy Mike Roby with Catching Memories, and Hooked on Hope. He's like, it's about the memories, and Jenny with Shutter Speech, he's like, it's about capturing these moments of just having fun together. That's
Pure joy.
that's the root of it all,
Yeah.
the joy of it, not the dock shot. The
Nope.
dock shot is the caveman beating his chest, going, "Oh, I'm better than the next guy," or
Hmm.
whatever, but the real steward, the real guy that goes out there and protects what he pursues, is the guy that's like, "Hey, man, I taught a kid how to do something today," or, "Hey, I took my brother-in-law, or I took my coworker, and
Or I
we had
released a 60 incher after taking a picture with her.
bingo, exactly."
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Butch,
And
man, oh, sorry,
I
go ahead.
enjoyed it. I was just going to say another thing that I think from a charter aspect, and a lot of our guys, um, not red snapper because we kill all of those that we can, but like speckled trout, sheep's head is a big one that we have a
Hmm.
huge population, a spawning population in the spring, and they're the big breeders. We have lots of captains that have in they've what word am I looking for? Instituted, there we go,
Hmm.
instituted their own boat regulations. Like we
Yeah.
don't keep speckled trout over 20 inches on this boat.
Yeah.
I have captains that will not kill a redfish on their boat.
Hmm.
To each his own, but every little bit helps. And they
Yeah.
are the guys that are fishing 150, 200 days a year. So that actually makes a huge difference.
Adds up in a
So
big, big, meaningful
self-regulation is
way.
a big thing too, is all I was gonna say.
Yeah. And we'll probably sound like we're beating a dead horse, but like in my business journeys, like every smart businessman I've ever listened to, they're like, if people don't hear you saying your mission to the point that they're annoyed, you're not saying it enough, So like for me, like if I fall off the boat tomorrow and die, I would hope that people remember, Luke as the guy that cared about, being a better, steward, because that's important, not for Luke's benefit, but for
Right.
the fisheries benefit.
Yeah. But you're
So
not going to fall off the boat and die because you're going to have your life jacket on and your garment in reach because we also preach safety.
absolutely. Safety is huge. Being in federal construction, safety and QC is like daily language, and it translates to everything we do. I just talked to my boat neighbor yesterday and learned that his brother passed away 15 years ago, because he was driving a contender, and he was making sort of an evasive maneuver and hit a wave funny, and it threw him into his steering wheel and punctured his heart. And I
Jesus.
and I just remember, as soon as he said that, I just was like hit with that thought of like, wow, like I need to add, like, safe maneuvering, like it's not cool to go fast if you are potentially out of control, and things can happen so fast. So
Yeah.
um yeah, man, be safe, make good memories, be good to your fellow boaters and to the fishery, and we can continue having fun and having a blast doing it for years to come.
Yep.
Man, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I
This
was a little nervous.
yeah, this walk down memory lane, it's got me all fired up and
Yeah.
feeling all, warm and fuzzy on the inside, because we've had so many cool fishing memories and hunting memories together. And to think that we're just getting started because we're young men.
Absolutely. Definitely just getting started. Looking
Yeah,
forward to, we just started the Louisiana Delta Fishing Report and we're going nationwide.
awesome, man. Well, I'm excited about it. I know it's going to be really cool to see where this evolves over the next 5 years, and to one day when we're old men, sitting around on a dock, probably having a non-alcoholic beer at that point in our lives.
Yeah.
Um, and to be able to potentially look back and see, the impact that these kind of messages and themes had on the fishery, and the legacy that it builds, will be really, really cool. So thanks for making me a part of it. Thanks for being a
Yep.
part of my show. Folks, check out Captain Butch on the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report. He brings out a new report every single week. If you're going to travel to the South, or you're going to be in Pensacola or Panama City or anywhere around there, you're going to want to talk to Joe over on the Northwest Fishing Report. Definitely join our Facebook groups. Ours is the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report on Facebook. I'm assuming yours is Alabama
Alabama
Saltwater.
Saltwater Fishing Report. Yep.
Yep, and that's where you get good information from good local guides that you can trust. Folks, that's gonna wrap up a special segment for me here on our 101st episode, meeting the origin, the founder, the OG of it all, Captain Butch Theory, my dear friend. Thank you, Captain Butch. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, man. I enjoyed it. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Folks, if you're enjoying the content, take a moment, like and subscribe. It helps the AI bots out there in the interwebs, push us to other folks so they can hear it too. Stick around for a quick word from our sponsors that continue to help make this great content free for you each and every week, and we'll be back with you real soon. The days of heading out and blindly looking for good fishing areas are pretty much over. Don't waste time and money on fuel searching for fish. What you need are the most recent, highest resolution images to not only know where to go, but where not to go. The knowledge provided by today's technology is critical when planning an offshore fishing trip. So make the choice that captains all up and down the East Coast make and choose Hilton's real-time navigator. The easy-to-use interface and excellent customer service will have you on the fish every time you go. Check them out at hiltonsoffshore.com. Turn your dock into more than just a place to park your boat with Slipski's Dorado Oasis cover. Engineered for both beauty and protection, the Dorado Oasis transforms your dock into a shaded, all-weather living space, perfect for relaxing by the water or entertaining friends. Built from marine-grade aluminum and premium fabric, it also provides year-round protection from sun, rain, and debris. Whether you're lounging dockside or keeping your boat covered and ready to go, Slipski delivers comfort, convenience, and peace of mind. Slipski, think outside the boathouse. Visit slipski.com. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that first segment, getting some background on how we got here, how this podcast became a reality, and talking about community and how this show has been a way for us to gather folks from different walks of life that are playing key parts of the fishing community. This next guest is somebody who fits that mold for sure. So I want to welcome Captain Nate Myers to the show with the Fallen Outdoors and Catch 22. How are we doing, Cap? It's been a minute.
Yeah, no, it's doing great, Luke, and super excited to jump back on. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And one of the things that we love about our fishing community is the way that guys come together to support, people with, dealing with pediatric cancer. And in your case, you guys are helping, our veterans, which is awesome. They are a huge part of what makes our country what it is today, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. And this is kind of a neat, cool, small way of giving back. But before we jump into all that, for our listeners that are maybe hearing your voice for the first time, just give us a quick overview of who you are as a fishing captain, what your boat is that you run, and what your favorite fishing is to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Nate Myers, I have Catching Memories. Is Did a little bit of rebranding in the off season, so still operating Catch 22 custom rods and new kind of up and coming is Catch 22 charter. So something I'll be doing on the side. I run a 25-foot game fish, sea hunt game fish, fully outfitted with Cobia tower, Chola motor, Seakeeper ride, the whole nine. It's been a
You did
great
the
boat.
ride system. Heck
Did the
yeah.
ride system last year. Yeah, Brandon hooked me up. We did the install and but yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing. Hunt
Such a
like
game changer.
such a game changer. Absolutely. The
So
the
sick.
boat
Yeah.
is amazing. So yeah, so
Actually, pause real quick. I
yeah,
do
man.
want to know because I haven't gotten a chance to ride around. Have you been in the tower with the Seakeeper ride operational?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How great is that to have people
It's
moving around downstairs and like not be
yeah,
bothered?
yeah. The other day, I mean, I had two guys standing on one gunnel, one side, and I didn't even know it until they start talking. I looked down before, like, if anybody even thought about moving, I would feel it upstairs, and I was constantly on the trim tabs. But yeah, no, it's night and day difference. It completely changed the ride and the quality of that boat. Because
That's
I
so
was really
sick.
considering about like it wasn't performing like I wanted to, and I was like, this is the last ditch effort. I'm gonna do it. It's either gonna make it right or it's not gonna. And it, yeah, no, I actually absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Sorry for the sidebar. You were saying.
Yeah. So yeah, so do a little bit of everything. Fishing in a bay. Ultimately, cobia is probably my primary fish. I target cobia and drum. Been getting into sheep's head a little bit more lately. The last couple of years, I've been really getting dialed in on the sheep's head. So I like targeting those. And then building custom rods. So pretty much anything from inshore, offshore, all the cobia, sheep's head. Been taking a lot of orders here lately, so that's been booming pretty good. I'll probably be stopped taking orders here probably with next week or two. With
Right.
season coming on, I figure it'll be pretty busy, and I don't want
You're
people
going
to
to be
be
on the
delayed.
water. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
so
That's a cool, myriad of skill sets. How did you get into the rod building? Did that happen before the fishing, or did the fishing happen after the rod building?
no, the rod building happened after. So I got
Okay.
basically for me the big thing was is I couldn't find a rod that fit what I wanted.
Right.
So it was one of those things where I built my first rod on the kitchen table, hand wrapping it, and then it just kind of started progressing from there. Now I have a full blown shop downstairs, and like I said, can build pretty much anything. I've actually just got an order of some offshore rods. I'll be building some tuna sticks, and actually going to be working on the spinning game for tuna for bluefin. So I got a
Oh,
couple of
wow.
blanks in here that are prototype that I'm going to be building and hopefully build a release. Get them into some of the hands. See what they'll do. See if they'll make it or they'll break it, and then
I
we'll
was
go
gonna
from
say,
there.
I think that a bluefin tuna on a spinning rod is probably the ultimate test of a rod. I mean, aside from
Yeah,
running it over with a tractor trailer. So,
yeah, yeah. I
so
know a couple of them that were broken over the winter time. So I want to, yeah. And the thing is it's pretty much the Northeast, has that one. We really don't have a lot of builders down here that are really kind of putting these rods out there.
mhm.
Yeah, there's a couple guys maybe down in like Outer Banks, and most of it's up in New England, the northeastern region where they're getting them up there. So I'm hoping I can bring something to the Virginia area since it's becoming a little bit bigger for us, and definitely a fish that a lot of guys are targeting during the winter months.
Yeah, and I do want to jump, into something you said. So you like to target cobia. So I kind of want to cover two things. One, if we could get a quick little cobia report from you, and then also tell us about this event that you've got coming up on July 11th. Actually, let's start there. Let's start with the event. So what's on July 11th? What can we do to get involved? Who does it benefit? Give us the 411.
Yeah, so July 11th, this will be our third annual TFO Day on the Water, TFO for the Fallen Outdoors. I partnered up with them over the last couple of years, and we decided to put this event on each year. It's a benefit event with the mission of just getting our active duty servicemen and women, veterans out on the water for a day. It's no tournament, no money on the line, just let's go fishing.
Hmm.
This year, we've actually doubled our participants and captains. We have close to 30
Wow.
boats,
Wow.
which is amazing. So Michael Hussein from Fishing for Mortgages is going to be busy building some buckets for us.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then we had some amazing sponsors pull through for us this year. We like quadrupled our sponsorship, which
Wow.
is awesome because it allows us to be able to really give back to the captains as well because they're volunteering for the day.
Hmm.
So we do a little bit extra for the captain's buckets. And then this year, same, we'll be hosting it at Wallace's, will be where the main event will be taking place. We'll have tents set up with raffles. They will be open to the public. So if anybody from the public wants to stop in, um, pick up some raffle tickets, we'll be having like coolers, custom rods, reels, like some really good quality stuff there. And then, and all this proceeds goes right back into events just like this. And the goal is we're planning to have multiple smaller events. We'll have one big event like this each year, and then there's going to be smaller events to try to get as many TFO members out on the water and other organizations too around the outside of TFO that are doing this for a good cause of getting our servicemen and women and veterans on the water. But yeah, and we'll have a food truck this year, so that's going to be great. Last couple of years, we've been doing the food ourselves, so we've been getting back, firing up the grills, and it's been tough.
That's a
So
lot of
this year
work.
we got a food truck, and we'll be able to get back and just relax. So yeah, I'm super excited for this year's event. Like I said, as long as we get some good weather, last year we had amazing fishing, amazing weather. I think all the boats pretty much limited out by like noon. Some boats were returning early, but yeah, it was one of those days we got out there and everybody was on fish immediately. So
And that just makes it that much sweeter. I do want to highlight something that you said, Wallace's, so folks, if you've never been to Wallace's, to me it's like one of the most like serene little places that you could imagine. You're just driving down this road and all of a sudden, boom, it opens up and you got water pretty much 180 degrees. You got this big wide open parking lot with tons of parking spaces. There's boats on trailers, and then you got Wallace's. It's like almost like picture grandma's house with a wraparound porch, looking out over the water. The whole marina there, two giant places, ramps for taking your boat in and out of the water. It is really a special place there. And Tony and his wife do an amazing job with that place. it's an awesome spot to host a tournament. So I say tournament, but it's an event. I know there's going to be some chest beating, and maybe some guys might,
Yeah.
do something on the side. Who knows? But it's such a cool place to hang out. So I would really encourage, like, if you've got young kids, or if you're a teenager listening to this who loves fishing and you want to find a way to get involved, or even just have the opportunity to hang out around a bunch
Hmm.
of, charter guides and fishermen, this would be an event that you want to be at. Come out, bring your parents, or if your parents, bring your, small kids, buy some food, buy some raffle tickets. It'll just be a fun time, whether you fish or not. And then, of course, like you said, all the proceeds go directly to the Fallen Outdoors, which is such a cool organization. I've talked to some of these folks. My buddy Mike Manning, for example, he's a veteran himself. He now runs his own boat. I think he participated as a captain last year, and hopefully will do it again this year. A lot of these people, have served their whole lives in the military, and it can be tough to have a family, a full-time military career, and then on top of that, still find the time and the money to buy a boat and outfit it and all the equipment. So for a lot of people, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity to get out there and enjoy going
Yeah.
fishing, especially considering that, chartering is not getting any cheaper either.
No,
So
no, not at
uh,
all.
I love that aspect of it, that it gets folks out there to make memories, have fun, and do something that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to do.
Yeah, no, and it's great to see the friendships. I say lasting friendships really that have been created with this
Yeah,
event. I know one of the guys I fish with came jumped on the boat there the other day. He was a TFO member, and now he's a good buddy. I talk to him almost daily. So
nice.
to see those friendships and to hear that these guys are getting together throughout the seasons and fishing, and it's more than just a 1 day event. It really builds lasting friendships and fishing partners and it's just crazy to see how close the community comes. Even some of the captains and stuff that I fish with, I feel like through this event we've even bonded even more because it's such a fun time. Everybody kind of comes together. Everybody's chipping in to help out. Um, and like you said, yeah, with Wallace's, I mean, there's the sunsets there at Wallace's is just absolutely beautiful.
Stunning
Like
out
as
over the
it's,
marsh.
yep, it's just, yeah. So it's hard to beat. And like I said, the Tony and Tam, they're the family, they're like extended family. So I wouldn't have it anywhere else. And but we will be having some boats that are coming out of like Little Creek, Lynnhaven, some of the other places too, that
Hmm.
may not be coming up to Wallace's. So even if someone's interested in doing this and just because the main uh, event is taking place at Wals's does not mean you can't leave from another marina if you want to
Got it.
participate as a captain. We'll
Got it.
coordinate the individuals to meet you wherever you're at.
And I'll say, if it's a nice day, and everybody's enjoying themselves and having fun, like I have ridden back from Wallace's many times by water, and it's a beautiful evening ride. So even if
Mm-hmm.
you come out of Lynnhaven or come out of Little Creek and go fishing for the day, just fish up the split, go up the Y1 and the Y2, and then, just pop over to Wallace's as your little pit stop, hang out, and then you have your nice little cruise home.
Yeah, absolutely. This year too, Jenny from Shutter Speed, she's going to be joining us again. Last year she did a full photo album for us, and we'll have that set up. So I mean, she takes some amazing pictures and just
Oh yeah.
capture those moments that any other time you kind of look over, you forget about. So super excited to have her again this year to capture some awesome moments.
She's one of a kind, man. She's become like a national treasure to our local fishing community, to capture all these moments that, like, a cell phone does no justice. When she's sitting there in that other boat and getting that angle from, like, 60 yards away, it's
Hmm.
like it's something special. All right, so you've actually been out fishing. You, like everybody else that I've run into at the marina or spoken to, is like, hey dude, where are you? Why haven't I seen any fishing pictures? And the answer is because I haven't been fishing yet. All I've been doing is working. So I'm jealous, but I'm also interested. I know you've been out. You've gotten to see a little glimpse of what's going on with the cobia. How's it been for you so far? Because you fish out of Wallace's, or
Yeah.
no, yeah, you fish
Yep.
out of
Yeah,
Wallace's.
pretty
So
much. Yeah. Yep.
what's it been like, looking at that sort of like middle upper bay area over the last, week or two?
It's actually been pretty good. I've been out a handful of times. I can say that we've definitely ran out overfish coming out of the creek. Um, So they're pretty far north already. I mean, I don't know how far north, but I definitely know that they're up in our neck of the woods easily. Fished oceanfront a couple times. Pretty good fishing out there as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it seems like was out Sunday, I believe. We definitely saw a good many fish, a lot of decent size, no jumbos, but we definitely saw a good class of 48, 50-inch fish out there. So getting them to eat's been the issue. We've only been throwing artificial jigs, swim bait, stuff like that. But yeah, it seems like a lot of them have lockjaw. But I also heard even down North Carolina as they're coming up the coast, for some of the ones that were coming up the coast, we're having some lockjaw too. So
Mhm.
maybe I don't know if it's water temperature. I don't know what's going on there, but definitely a nice class of fish showing up, and not only that too. I mean, the cobia bite, but even just everything. I mean, and I think Austin hit on it on the last podcast. It's just like
Yeah,
every
alive.
kind of fishery has just been alive. Whether it's sheep's head, the tog bite's still hot. The flounder starting to kick off. It's so
Hmm.
you're starting to see like the bay is really flourishing, and I'm hoping a lot of it has to do with we've had a fairly decent spring. We had a couple
Yeah.
northeast blows, but for the most part, it's been pretty consistent. We haven't had like we did last spring where the bottom fell out for like a week or 2 weeks, and so
Diluted everything. Yeah. And,
yeah,
I want to say that over the last 2 years, since starting this podcast, I was very much a dedicated cobia fisherman. But as I've gotten to listen to the different captains talk about all the different species that they target, it has really driven an interest for me. And I've gone out and explored more with like yellowfin tuna fishing and black sea bass fishing and flounder fishing. I have still yet to spend any time focused on tautog or sheep's head, but I can undoubtedly say that if it wasn't for this show and getting to talk to different guides, I feel like I would be so far away from the relevant information to even start to try, that I just probably wouldn't even try.
yeah,
It's really encouraged me to explore like more things, there's nothing against cobia fishing. I love cobia fishing. It's still my absolute favorite thing in the world to do. But I don't want to say this the wrong way. Let me think for a second. Cobia cobia fishing is not easy to do consistently well at,
yeah,
but it is not hard to at least see the fish. Whereas every other fish, the hardest part to me is like trying to get to where the fish are to get to then present a bait. And then typically, if you find the sea bass or you find the flounder or you run over a yellowfin tuna, they tend to be very hungry fish that'll, eat a
yep,
bait. Whereas
yep,
cobia is the exact opposite. They're not hard to find, but they are hard to get to eat consistently and then do all the right things after the eat happens to actually get them, in the boat. Um,
yeah,
how did I
absolutely.
do? Did I say that PC? Was
Yeah,
I?
no, you did. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I don't want to
Yeah,
insult. I'm not insulting anybody. It's just that it's comical because like you could put 20 different cobia fishermen in a tank with a tank full of cobia, and three or four of them are going to consistently catch fish, and the rest are going to be like scratching their heads, going, "Why? What am I doing wrong?"
I've had those days 100%. I've went out and I have you know seen this other captains in the similar areas, and they're like, "Oh, dude, yeah, no, we caught our limit, several hours ago," and I'm like, "What am I doing wrong here?" Like,
Right.
it's just,
Just like,
I'm I see you over there a couple hundred yards away. We're in the same area. It's not like I'm, you know, fishing somewhere where it's completely dead. So yeah, no,
right.
it is. But I also like it too, especially when taking like the multiple species, because some clients they want to go out and they just want to cobia fish. Absolutely,
Hmm.
they want to catch release. And but then others, they kind of want to try different things. And I think for me, the sheep's head bite, because not only is just you can target sheep's head, but with it you can pick up some tog. Um, we've even caught flounder on chong jigs with
Okay.
a piece of crab on it, which is crazy. I don't know why flounder ate it, but it
Interesting.
it ate it. But you'll pick up some triggerfish, red drum, black drum.
Hmm.
So you have a lot of species that you can typically catch when you're doing that, and to me it's just fun because you just never know what you might end up hooking up.
Right.
Um, Whereas a cobia, and 9 times out of 10 when you throw on it, it's not going to eat. It's going to give you the and just swim away, and you're
Yeah.
and then everybody looks up at you like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Why didn't you just catch it? The fish is right there. I don't understand, and when you say, so you're throwing artificials right now, which I respect because it's preseason. You don't want them to accidentally got hooked on a live bait, etc. What kind of artificials are you throwing now? And once harvest season starts, will you throw different artificials, the same, or just, incorporate live bait?
So I pretty much throw the same throughout the year. I mean, I always have a jig tied up. I'm very partial to boat up lures. It's their puffer jig. It's like the original puffer head, 2 ounce jig. It's kind of yellow and brown. For some reason, that's pretty much all I throw when it comes to jigs. I'm not a big collar guy. I like kind of more the natural look. No live bait needed. I throw a lot of those, and that
Yeah.
seems to be pretty deadly.
Which
Um,
size of the NLBM? Which size do you use?
so I used a 5 inch paddle tail with a 3/4 ounce head.
Okay.
Um, I know when
A
I
little
first started,
lighter.
yeah, a little bit lighter because it helps keep. I can still throw it a good distance because the body of it still has some weight to it,
Right.
and you
And it's
don't
very
have to.
aerodynamic.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it sinking too fast. You can keep it up in the upper profile easily for the cobia. So yeah, usually 3/4 to 1 ounce head. So you don't have to go too heavy. At least that's what works for me. I know some guys that'll throw a 2 ounce head,
Yeah.
but you gotta if you overcast, you really gotta crank it hard to keep it up.
Yeah.
If not, you lose sight of it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, and then during once season kicks off, ultimately throwing fin fish, croaker spot, that nature, eels,
Hmm.
um, and last year you hit on a key point, and I was talking to Travis here the other day about this using circle hooks.
Hmm.
And you talked about gut hook, and I was actually talking to one of the guys I know really well, and he was throwing live bait, and I was like, "Yeah, you're using circle hook, right?" And he's like, no." And I'm like, "Man, like," and so it kind of got me onto it. I was talking with Travis, and just I think one of the things us as being fishermen, trying to be conservative and conservationist,
Hmm.
that like
Yeah.
using circle hooks, and I know a lot of the guys that they're team circle hook now, that and got me onto it. I had my share of pull offs last year, and went to circle hooks, and it's not only do you keep them buttoned up, but then you also, if because to me is now that the size limit is 43 min. I think
Hmm.
before it was very easy to see the distinct difference between like a 38 to 40.
Right.
Now between like a 43 and a 45 is a little
Tough to
bit
see.
different.
Yeah.
So and I think for me, it's like you see the fish and you're, used to be like, oh, it's 40 because that's what we pretty much cut our teeth on.
Yeah.
Um, I could definitely see a lot of guys throwing live bait at smaller fish that would, devour a bait with the J hook and potentially get gut
And then
hooked.
be a
So,
42 incher. Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of 42 inchers actually. I feel like that was kind of the ticket, is like they'd be like either 37, 38 inches, or they'd be 42, 43 inches, like right in that range.
yeah,
But I appreciate that you're doing that. Team Circle Hook is definitely something I've considered. I probably will experiment more with it this year. Uh, I know, if my buddy Nick is listening, one of the biggest fish we caught on my boat, I pulled off a live bait with a J hook, and he's from Florida, from Pensacola, and he followed up with a circle hook, an eel on a circle hook, and got bit and stayed buttoned up. And so he kind of just like looked at me and chuckled, and he was like, "I told you, man, circle hooks are where it's at."
yeah.
But at any rate, as we wrap up, I'm curious if folks are listening and they want to find a way to get involved with the Fallen Outdoors, or the event on July 11th, or any of the other events, like maybe this struck a chord with them as something they want to get involved in, or donate to, or become a sponsor of. What's the best way, or I should say, book a trip with you or buy a rod? What's the best way that they can contact you to get involved in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, so for TFO, I do know they have a Facebook group. I think it's the Fallen Outdoors East Coast Division. If you're on the East Coast, but if you go there to be a member, you answer a couple questions, and then you're a member, and you can actually get chosen to be a participant in some of these events from the TFO side of things.
Nice.
From my side, You can always just give me a call, 304-698-9442. And then I also have nate.myers@catchingmemories.com. You can find me on social media. I believe my handles, I have Nate Catch22, and then also have Catching Memories, both on Instagram, social, and Facebook. So you shoot me a message on there as well. And then I will be having the website up here pretty soon, and on there I'll have a spot to request rod builds, if you want to book a trip or anything, or just even to reach out. So
Perfect.
I'll be having that hopefully up and running here pretty soon as well.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited for the event. I'll be praying for good weather, and it's always a pleasure having you on the show, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely appreciate it, Luke. It's always an opportunity to come on here and be a part of this this awesome podcast you have. Like I said, I listen to it religiously, so it's always great to be a part of it.
Oh man, I appreciate that very much. And it's always a pleasure as well. So thank you so much for being on the show, folks. That's going to wrap up a really cool segment talking with Captain Nate. Stick around for a quick word from our sponsors, and then we're going to take a little trip inshore to find out what's been biting up the bay closer to the Tangier Islands. I'll stick around. We'll be right back. This podcast is brought to you by EMS and Indeck PVC Decking. Hooks rust, lines tangle, the one that got away always does. Some things aren't meant to last. This isn't one of them. For coastal homeowners, marina and dock properties, and waterfront builders, Indeck delivers a premium finished surface without the constant upkeep. Indeck's capped cellular PVC dock and deck boards never rot, clean up easily with soap and water, and offer strong slip resistance in wet or dry conditions. Indeck, designed for what comes next. See the full line at pages.easternmetal.com/Great Days. Pure Flat slick lures are tried, true, and guide approved. Slick lures catch big speckled trout, redfish, flounder, and more. You can cast them a mile, and they produce a highly erratic bait fish imitation with a twitching retrieve. The tournament-winning slick has helped many anglers set personal best records. Whether you're fishing the OG slick, the smaller profile slick junior, or the versatile lil slick, one is sure to find that unforgettable thump we're all after. Visit your local tackle retailer or pureflats.com for your favorite color and rigging combination. Go sling some slicks today. You can't catch them on the sofa. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that little segment there talking to Captain Nate and learning about the fallen outdoors. I do want to go up the bay a little bit towards the Tangier Sound and all of its beautiful tributaries and talk with Captain CL Marshall from Tangier Sound Charters. How are we doing, Captain CL?
We're doing great, Luke, man. Happy to be back on the podcast again, man. Thank you so much for having us.
I'm always happy to have you on the podcast, man. You are just a treat and a treasure. I always love getting to catch up and hear what you're up to and hear the stories. And hey, how are book sales, man?
Book sales are solid, man. I think I made enough to buy a 12-pack of Natural Light.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right? It's a great book.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to see you in person and get you to put your signature on my copy. I flew with it recently, and man, it's just cool to see that we got somebody right in our backyard that's capturing such cool memories and stories and history.
Yeah, I mean, this book's called Seasons of the Chesapeake, and this is my fifth one, I think it is. And I tell you how it started, man. This whole book thing, the first one we did was called Duck Hunting Tales of the Chesapeake, and it was nothing more than a bunch of friends sitting around some guy's pole shed, drinking beer, swapping stories, just like people all over the world do, And
Yeah.
And then and then Bobby Graves looked at me and goes, "Man, somebody ought to write this stuff down." And I'm like, "That's a great idea," and that's how it all started,
That's
And
awesome.
the thing about it, yeah, the cool thing is, what I try to do with the books is just capture a little slice of what this whole hunting and fishing lifestyle was back in the day. And I don't know if you've read the story Last of My Kind in this new book. It's kind of cool to be able to preserve that history and then again blend it with new things that we're doing. Like in a new book, there's a story called November, which talks about how many opportunities we have in November as some doors open and some doors close. So, much do what I do, man. Yeah, people tend to like it, but I got to tell you, Luke, man, we just came back from an epic. And epic is not a word I use often, and it's really not the word to describe this. We just had
Yeah.
one hell of a trip, Luke.
Yeah.
I was sitting over the winter trying to figure out, what can I do that's different than everybody else that's out there.
Yeah.
So we scheduled this bridge to bridge trip. I think I sent you the video.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was so cool to watch. That was absolutely epic. Those ladies had the time of their life.
Yeah, so I had these four ladies. They're a fishing team, the Real Ladies Fishing Team, Luke. And we started our odyssey under Fisherman's Island and ran into a really, really good, super, super shallow bluefish topwater bite. And we had our way with them. And, we went looking for red ones down there and we found them. And that was good. And then we set up on cobias and we caught, several big cobia right there at in a 9 foot shoal area. That was
Mm-hmm.
that was good. And then we went north to a Nancock and spent the night at a nice little place up there called Maurice that Sean Thomas owns, and had dinner at Mallard's at the Wharf, feasted on some of that Sam Russ seafood. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and then we moved to we fished with black drum fishing, caught some everybody caught a nice black drum. Went to Tangier then, checked into a bed and breakfast, or not, but a house called Bella Vista,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which was on the west side of Tangier overlooking the bay. It was beautiful. Went back that afternoon for the afternoon red drum bite in the shallows. It was amazing. Um, Got blown out the next day.
That
With
sucks.
I know it was actually a load of fun, man, because got a little access to a crab shanty over there, and we sat there and steamed some crabs, and drank some beers, had a large time, and then we went north and fished the Smith Island, South Marsh, Bloodsworth complex up into the Honga River and stayed at Riverside Lodge, and it was amazing. We had to cut a little bit short. We didn't make it up to the Eastern Bay and the Chop Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Had some things pop up that happened. But man, those ladies had a blast, and they were the real deal, man. Make no mistake.
They knew what they were doing, didn't they?
Yeah, Luke. The cool thing was, we were topwater fishing, we were casting lures, we were soaking bait, we were throwing popping corks. We did everything that you could possibly do to catch a fish except troll, and I don't troll, so it was wild.
That's true. I've never heard you talk about trolling. You are definitely a man of the artificials and the cut bait. I was curious. So the cobia that you caught,
Yeah,
what time was this? Was this last week or the week before?
this was Sunday.
Sunday.
Might
Okay,
might have been
so
Saturday.
so just a couple of days ago, and I've been talking to folks about cobia in different parts. Oceanfront up near Wallace's, near the York River. So you're over there in the 9 foot shoal. I'm
Yeah.
curious, what bait were you using to get your bites, and was it on the bottom or were you keeping it suspended?
No, we were fishing right on the bottom with fresh menhaden, Luke.
Okay, got it.
I was using my usual not fish finder rig with a 9/0 circle hook
Yep,
and 8 ounces of lead, pinning it to the bottom, and it was good.
that's awesome.
It was really good. I talked to I think his name was David Gill, and he had
Yeah,
been
striper
he
sniper.
he'd been casting. I think he had 10 that day.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a good day, and it seemed like the best bite for that was over on the other side. Damon Deppy was down there as well. I think he had several cast into him. Um,
Wow.
but we elected to stay on my side of the bay, and
Mm-hmm.
we did well with them.
Exciting, man. And did you have much bycatch with like sharks and rays, or was it primarily cobia?
No, we did not.
Wow.
We caught one shark, which was a nice one. Shook him off at the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had, I think we caught one ray and I had 4 or 5 cobias, something like that. It was a great day.
That's exciting. And then to get to see so much of the bay in a short period, going from Fisherman's Island and working your way up. The other day I actually looked at Tangier Island and I didn't realize that it is quite a ways off the coast. I mean, isn't it about what, 9 to 12 mile to run to get out there from pretty much anywhere?
Yeah, it's pretty much 14 miles from Reedville, about 14 miles from Nancock and Chrisfield. It's
Yeah.
pretty much directly in the middle of the bay.
Yeah.
It's such a cool spot, man. Look, while we were there in Tangier, unfortunately, Four Brothers Ice Cream was closed and
Oh
open.
no.
That was an issue, and believe me, when I saw,
That
I,
was an issue.
I found Tommy Eskers, the owner, and I'm like, Tommy, man, you got to help a brother out here. I
Yeah.
mean, and he was nice enough to let me tie up in his slip and all that, and that's all great and fine. But we're talking ice cream here.
Yeah.
But
Very, very important that we get a hold of the ice cream.
but we had a really good lunch at Lorraine's with the crab dip,
Oh
and
yeah.
and then we went back to like I said, went to the crab shanty and just kind of chilled out there,
Hmm.
which is neat. And the Bella Vista place we stayed, Ken Parks owns it. It was outstanding. I mean, it was very well appointed. It was very comfortable. These ladies were very comfortable there. And on the upstairs of it, it was a big deck that just overlooked the Chesapeake.
Oh,
And
that's magical, especially with how good the weather was. I mean, sunny and nice. You can't beat that.
after a couple hard days of fishing, and grilling out those big New York strip steaks that we had, with a glass of bourbon, it was well deserved respite. I can tell you that.
I don't know that there's anything better than, after a long day on the water, grinding, up early, packing out your ice, getting all your tackle straight, get on the water, fishing, catching, releasing, netting, and then cleaning your fish, cleaning your boat, and finally get to
Yep.
sit down and put your butt in a chair and then have a good steak and a good bourbon. I mean, that is like the ultimate, sort of cherry on the top there, if you will.
It's living, man. And it was Tuesday.
Right. So, okay, so you caught cobia on the bottom. You
Yeah.
mentioned redfish. How has the redfish bite been up that way? Were you catching them on lures, poppers, or were you doing cut bait for those as well?
Now, the redfish bite's been very interesting. I've been, we caught a couple of those simply as bycatch in the black drum fishery.
Hmm.
Uh, and what's uh, being observant of what's around your surroundings is absolutely critical, as you're aware.
Hmm.
But I noticed last week one day that on two different occasions, as I was checking the black drum fishery is good, but it's very difficult because of the number of small croakers in the bay.
Yeah.
And as soon as your line hits the water, your bait hits the bottom, those croakers are eating it off. So
Uh,
we try to schedule the black drum fishing right at slack tide when that croaker bite's not going to be as heavy. And what I noticed in checking the baits a couple weeks ago, twice I had reds follow the bait back up to the boat, and I'm like,
hmm.
huh, that's exactly what I said. Huh.
Yeah.
So what I started doing was, as I'm bringing it back to check it, which is about once every 4 minutes, I'll just stop it and kind of move it back erratically. And damn if I ain't caught a couple reds doing that. And so that was interesting. But we were soaking half crabs on the bottom over a shell pile in about 12, 13 feet of water. Black drums were good. Cleaned them, ate them. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, and by bleeding them things, if you're not bleeding them, don't even keep them. The black ones. It's such a different product if you bleed them. When,
Yeah.
when you eat them, it's totally different. It's so much better, far superior.
You're
Uh,
taking me back to my early days of fishing and eating cobia and thinking it was like okay but not that great, and then somebody introduced me to bleeding them and holy cow, what a difference. And now all my fish I bleed. I'll even bleed a flounder just
yeah,
because it's like, why wouldn't you give that fish an opportunity to taste its best and be as fresh as it could be for as long as possible?
right, right. So we did that. We did that with the blacks, and then we on the reds specifically. It's been better north of me. The guys around Bloodsworth and South Marsh are doing well. They're doing very well. But they're a lot of them are fishing late into the night,
Right.
into the evening. I'm really trying been to work on the early morning and midday by trying to figure out where these fish are going and what they're doing. Been somewhat successful at that. They seem to be very tide dependent. Uh,
Mm.
they really like if I can get up, in the mouth of a creek or something like that on an outgoing tide, I can always scrape some out there. It's good numbers of reds up here, and the fishing is good.
Hmm.
It's good for them. We caught one, and that Donna Guthridge caught, and it was in about a foot and a half of water, and that thing hit like a freight train, and probably he can't go down. He can only go away from you. And that little 4,000 series quantum reel was screaming as that fish tried to depart. And it's just such a cool experience because it's all on top. It's all real shallow, and you see it all.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Visual fishing is so much fun. I mean, that's I think what drew me in early to Cobia. Just getting that immediate visual feedback of what's happening, or watching the eat happen, or seeing the behavior of the fish. It's so exciting, and you guys get to do a lot of that up that way because you've got all that shallow water opportunity, which I think is good for folks that are listening that maybe have never gotten to hear your voice before. Give us a quick reminder of like all the areas of coverage that you have access to and the different species that we can go after. If somebody wants to book a trip with Captain CL, they got to go to the menu and pick, which restaurant, which historical experience, and which species they want. But yeah, give us the overview, man. Like right now, it's early June. What can we go after? What's in purview for you?
Yeah, I'm on the back end of this black drum fishery right now. That's good. Speckle trade have been a no-show. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The man I know who's caught more speckle trade than anybody up here thus far has caught six. So it's
Oh,
it's it's dismal, but
weird. That's very
very.
weird.
Yeah, the,
Huh.
the the redfish are a viable option and will remain so for the summer in a variety of different opportunities there. That'll be an opportunity we'll have until October, I trust.
Okay.
There's Schleinder, the offshore wrecks, which aren't too far away. We can do that in sea bass for sure. But in the bay specifically, we had sheep's head the other day. Bottom fishing for croakers and spots, of course.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is great for kids. Like you got a
yeah.
group of kids or want to have some consistent action, some easy fishing, that croaker and spot. That's the ticket.
Yeah, what I'll do if I've got kids is I'll run up now that the entire Chesapeake Bay is open in Maryland for rock fishing. I'll run up, a small creek, small river, and run up there and find a place and where we can catch perch, the
Hmm.
white perch and rockfish up there, and a good chance for some puppy drum if there are any in these places. So that's a whole different experience, with the bottom fishing with the light tackle there. It looks like to me that we're going to have a real good bite on this topwater bluefish thing,
Hmm.
because just by the numbers I saw at the Bridge Tunnel the other day, I would, they're moving my way, and I welcome them. Come on, let's go. Uh,
Yeah.
and so that's probably on what we'll be doing a lot of that over the next few days. Once you cross over into Maryland, where you can actually you can fish in Virginia for striped bass right now, catch and release, which is fun, and we do some of that.
Yep.
But like behind Smith Island at the rock jetties there, and a couple places on Smith Island, rock fishing is really good casting artificials for these smaller. I say smaller, 20 to 30 inch fish. Um,
Hmm.
and
That's still that's a good striper.
it's a great striper, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's one of
yeah.
my favorite things. Well, probably my favorite fish that I can catch to eat is a striper. Ah, you got me thinking about several recipes that my girlfriend makes that are just so good to eat. One of my favorites is this like a buffalo style rockfish bites,
In the air
where she,
fryer.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, so good. Anyway, sorry for the sidebar. You get me thinking about food. Every time I talk to you, we end up thinking about talking about food.
Oh yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, so we've got a lot of different opportunities up here right now, and you know, um, I got invaded by dolphins the other day. The amount of dolphins, mammal dolphins that are up here is just it's truly amazing. We'll get on a real good rockfish bite. The further and the dolphins will come in and kind of push them away. And one of the things that's really neat, Luke, is the further north you go,
Yeah.
the clearer the water is.
Huh.
It's absolutely gin clear in the chop tank right now. I mean, if you're in 8 feet of water, you can see the structure, you can see whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
What drives that? Is it all the presence of oysters doing filtering? Is it the algae hasn't kicked off yet? Like, what is it up there?
I think both. I think it's a combination of both right there. We
Okay.
haven't had any hot water to kick the algae off, and the number of oysters is good. And we're still seeing John Rogers. I talked to him the other day. He's up in the Susquehanna Flats. He sent me a picture of his side scan, and I'm like, Jesus God, that's a bunch of fish. Uh, he's hammering them up there. And the chop tank is really good right now, and they're still seeing schools of fish just moving through. Uh, it's good to see. We have caught many more smaller fish, rockfish,
Hmm.
than we have in the past. Uh,
Yeah.
the past couple of years, it's been a chore to catch a 12 or 14-inch fish, and for whatever reason, we've caught I probably had 10 the other day, which was more than I had all last year.
Yeah. Wow.
So
It's
uh,
exciting to just have that many options. And obviously you're running that 25-foot Parker now, which is very comfortable for, several anglers. And your reach is pretty large because you're on a trailer. So I mean, you could launch out of like from your house. How many different places can you launch from?
oh, 20.
Yeah.
So and they're all within 40 minutes. I had a trip the other day, Luke. It is blowing northwest at 20 to 30 at the boat ramp.
Yuck.
I did everything I could do to talk these people out of going. The guy's name was Rick Rowland and his crew, and
You got rickrolled.
I did everything I could do, and I was,
Yeah.
but they said, "Look, we're down here. We're staying at our hunting lodge. We want to go fishing." I'm like, "All right." So I came out of Chrisfield, went through Broad Creek, and I got up right up under the bank under Fox's Island. I put the bow of the boat on the bank, got out, tied it off to the cleat, stuck the anchor in the mud in the bank. So we are directly under the bank. The wind is at our back, howling. I mean, just raging. And the water wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. We go 6 for 8 on reds and catch our limit of rockfish. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, man.
It's hard. It sounds like it's hard for you to miss given all of the available fishing that is right there in your backyard.
Oh, it's not hard for me to miss. Yesterday we had one red, one black, and we caught the whole skate family. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And then I think last week one day, if you'll see, look on the social media page, you'll see I had a skunk flag up flying. So
I did actually see that, and you know what? First of all, my condolences, and secondly, I respect the honesty, because it's not every day that you can go out and be a superhero. Sometimes skunks happen. For those that don't know what a skunk is, can you explain from a charter guide's perspective what a skunk is?
it's a day where you go out and do not catch a fish. And
Ugh,
I can assure you, no matter which charter guide that you go with, have anything to do with this podcast, that it is not due to lack of effort. I can
right,
assure you of that. And no
right.
one, no one to test hanging a skunk flag more than your charter guide. I can assure
Hmm.
you of that. We're all the same. We have a little bit of pride about us. We have
Yep.
some I don't want to say we're competitive, but we're competitive as
Oh
shit.
yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah. Big time. I mean, it's like it's to want to go out and succeed and do well for your guy, for your client, and for yourself as a guide. Um, I know that drives you guys and drives you crazy when it doesn't work because you've done all the work. You know how to do it. It's like wait a second, I know how to do this. Like I know how to catch fish. Why can't I? It's like what my buddy Butch and I were talking about when he first moved to Virginia. He's like, I know how to catch fish. Why is the only thing I'm catching a stingray, you know? So I know you guys are competitive as the day is long. And I'm curious too, you know, uh, of all the different things that we can go after, looking into the rest of June and into July, what will be some of your target species that, you know, folks are interested in booking a trip? What can they expect to have on the menu?
You know, the cobia bite that I normally have in the last week of May and the first week of June looks like it's going to be about, you know, getting ready to start right now.
Okay.
So that's good. And that's up here behind, you know, behind Nancock. That's way far north. So I'm probably going to make a look for them tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We're down for maintenance. We're down for maintenance today, um, scheduled maintenance. So we'll probably take a look for that tomorrow. That'll be really cool. We've got
Mm-hmm.
increasing numbers of bluefish that are popping up, and that's always fun on top water. And you
Oh
got to
yeah.
catch the bluefish first if you're going to catch if you're going to catch the cobias because
Mm-hmm.
they eat them.
Yeah.
So that's cool to do. And you know, I'm gonna keep working this black drum thing as long as I can. You know, if I can still get out and catch, you know, one or two of them on slack water when nothing
Mm-hmm.
else is moving, that's a good option. The redfish is gonna can looks like it's not gonna slow down. So we're just gonna let it roll, man.
Nice, man. Well, that's exciting to hear. And if folks want to get aboard Tangier Sound charters with you and go on an adventure of any type, what's the best way that they can contact you and get booked?
Uh, Telephone 410-251-7341. Email clmarshall@comcast.net. Or you
Mm-hmm.
can follow us on social media on the Facebook page at Tangier Sound Charters. It's a man, it's a great time to be alive, Luke. It really
It is,
is.
man. It's shaping up to be an awesome summer, and I've just heard nothing but good reports. I know people are excited to get out on the water. You know, I'm excited myself to get out there. It's been a long winter. I'm ready to go catch me a fish. But man, I just gotta thank you. It's always such a pleasure to talk and get to hear what you're up to and be reminded of all the variety that you can do on your charter. And I do want to remind folks that that book, Seasons of the Chesapeake, it's a good read. I'm not complete. I'm not through it yet, but it's a good read. You'll learn a lot. There's so much rich history around here, and it's cool to just know where things come from and how they got where they are. And it's neat to see it through the eyes and the lens and the pen of you, Captain CL.
Well, thank you. You know, I appreciate that. And one of the things I think I'm going to send you the picture. If not, it's on our Facebook page. Take a look at it. And you know, people think this whole charter thing is about the fish and the fish pictures and all that. And I guess to some degree it is. But there's this picture that we took, and I'm standing on the platform, the engine platform of my boat, and there's a 48-inch cobia laying between me and Liz Ignash,
Hmm.
and I'm leaning over the transom shaking her hand, and she is so excited and just so uh you know happy about what we have just
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
And that's why we do it, you know.
yeah,
That is what makes it work.
yeah.
So
Making a memory, man. That's truly what it's all about. So, well, man, thank you for being on the show, and wish you some good fishing tomorrow when you get the Parker back in the water. And we'll look forward to keeping an eye on your adventures as the weeks come.
man, I can't wait, Luke, and thank you so much. I've just rolled in here to this we're getting ready to do a groundbreaking for a brand new Wawa here in the lovely city of Pocomoke.
Ooh,
We're going to
that's
do
a big
that,
deal.
and I'm going to tell you, you know, a lot of people are so excited about the Wawa and all that, and I expect it's a big deal, and I'm happy to have a Wawa in Pocomoke. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm more happy about is at the stoplight area where the junction is there, they're going to put a stoplight there. And over the last 2 years, there have been 73 accidents at this
Oh my
intersection. And I could,
gosh.
quite frankly, I could give two craps about the Wawa, but the
But the
stoplight
stoplight.
matters. It's going to save lives. It's going to be something that it's the better part of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll end on this note. That reminds me too, like as we get out there, like go through your trip checklists, make sure you've got all of your Coast Guard approved equipment. Make sure that you're operating your boat safely. Don't drink and operate. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. We've all done it. We've all been there, but be safe out there. That's the most important thing. So, Captain CL, thank you again. It's gonna be a good summer, and I look forward to seeing what you do.
I look forward to seeing you in Tangier, my friend.
Absolutely. You can count on that. So I think we've got an idea to come up there on a little Beechcraft bonanza and land there in Tangier or Crisfield, and then hop off the plane and hop onto the boat and go catch some fish. So we're going to make that happen.
We can make it happen. All right, I'm back to it. Thank you, Luke.
Man. Thank you, folks. That's going to wrap up a really cool segment talking with Captain CL Marshall up there at Tangier Sound Charters. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I learned a lot. Definitely check out what Butch is doing down there in the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report, and Captain Joe down there in Northwest Florida Fishing Report. Captain Nate with Catch 22 and the Fallen Outdoors come up on July 11th. Go check out the Seasons of the Chesapeake. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble. The link will be down in the show notes. Get booked with any of these guys that we talk to. It's always a fun time. You will have fun. You will catch some fish. Till next week, y'all be safe out there. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
If you're 21 or older and use nicotine or tobacco, it's time you charge ahead to Black Buffalo, America's only credible smokeless tobacco alternative. Black Buffalo dips just like the real thing, but without the tobacco leaf or stem. Get it now at Wawa, Circle K, Sheetz, Love's, Pilot, Racetrack, and many more that you can see on their store locator at blackbuffalo.com. Black Buffalo Tobacco Alternative is everything you love about dip, nothing you don't. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, to get your free APCO Camo Sunglasses Cleaner Cloth, text the acronym LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get your promo code and be added to our email list so we can send you the new show each week. You guys keep on whacking them and be safe out there.